I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Here it is now, not yesterday. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty, not a far God, not a sometimes God, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. Be still and know that I am God. Let these words be the atmosphere into which we step as into clear morning air. God, God, God. Not my opinions, not your fears, not the dust of yesterday's striving. Only power, only presence, only I. Now, we open the question in sacred quiet, not to stir controversy, but to still it. Is this which some have called Christ consciousness a living reality, the I am that formed thee from the womb and goes before thee to make the crooked places straight? Or is it a psychic mirage, a glamour of mind, a sparkle that leaves the heart empty? Let the question be honest. Let it be charged. But let us agree to one thing. Truth leaves you in peace. Deception leaves you striving. Remember it. Write it upon your heart. Truth leaves you in peace. Deception leaves you striving. Before we say more, could you gently, without moving the lips, say within yourself, I, and again, I am, not as a boast, not as a label, but as a listening. I am. Notice the nearness. It is not out there. It is here. Before Abraham was, I am. It does not arrive by your invitation. It announces, lo, I am with you always. Now, once more softly, I, and then, speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. In that listening, do not purchase anything. Do not bargain. Do not plead. Simply be still and know. Once, in a little village by the sea, let this be our parable. A fisherman stood upon the shore at dusk. The market was noisy. The nets were torn. The accounts were short. He thought to run, to shout, to scold. Then a word rose within as a tide without wind. I. Not a suggestion, not a threat, just I. The market did not change its sound, but his heart fell into a great quiet. He mended one knot, then another. A neighbor came unbidden and mended beside him. By moonrise, there was bread on his table and laughter in his doorway. No purchase, no strain. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. This is how we shall go on. We will not argue. We will behold. We will test. By their fruits ye shall know them. And the fruit we are watching for is singular. Peace that requires no price, that dissolves fear and guides the next step without whip or worry. If it dazzles yet drains, if it instructs yet intimidates, we shall set it aside. If it leaves behind the still waters and the green pastures, even in a city street, we shall bow and say, I in the midst of me am mighty. So let us begin, here and now, in quietness and in confidence. Take no thought for your life. Rest a moment in the I that never leaves nor forsakes. God, God, God. And we will know what is true by the peace it leaves behind. Now let us be plain and simple, because the things of spirit are plain and simple. When we say Christ consciousness, we are not pointing to a person to be admired or imitated. We are pointing to identity, to the I that spoke through prophets and through Jesus. The I that is speaking now is your very life. Before Abraham was, I am. Not was, I am. Eternal, unbeginning, unending presence. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Not Christ somewhere traveling toward you, but the ever-present light rising within as recognition. Christ is the name we give to the awareness of God as the only life of you, the only mind of you, the only substance of your being. It is not a concept added to you. It is yourself recognized. A label can be fashionable. Life is timeless. You may frame a phrase, socialize it, form a club around it, and yet never touch the hem of its garment. But the living Christ is not a phrase. It is breath without borrowing, light without wick, a presence that needs no advertisement. Hear the word, thus saith the Lord that made thee, and formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Closer than your next thought, nearer than pulse. The eye that formed you girds you still, though the mind has wandered after appearances. Say it softly within. I, that I is deity, not ego. That I is the only I. Do you see, then, why we do not set up a personality for worship or a method for pride? The Buddha, under the tree, did not add something to himself. He awoke from something illusion. He ceased purchasing snake and pink elephant appearances with belief, and the mirage dissolved. So with Christ awareness, it is not achieved, it is uncovered. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. As scales fall from the inner eye, the one that always was stands revealed, and with it fear loses its market and leaves. Prayer, therefore, is not informing God of need, nor persuading an absent power to arrive. Prayer is opening. Prayer is yielding. Prayer is that listening attitude, which says, Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. And then keep still long enough to be girded by what already is. In this stillness, grace supersedes law, cause and effect release their grip, and the I within performs. He performeth that which is given me to do, not by might, not by power, by spirit. God, God, God. And how shall you know it is true? By the sign we have been given. An effortless peace appears, not purchased by vow or strain, dissolving fear and quietly directing the next step. This is Christ's consciousness. The I am alive in you now, not a theory to admire, but the very life that lives you, the presence that goes before you to make the crooked places straight, the gentleness that will never leave you nor forsake you. Be still and know there are, moving through the field of awareness, two currents, and if you can name them, you will not fear them. Elijah knew it on the mount when wind and quake and fire passed, and then after the fire, a still small voice. The first current is that voice, the I in the midst of you that is mighty, speaking without push, without price, as presence itself. The other is the restless commentator, the ego mind that chatters, calculates, bargains, accuses, and always demands payment in strain. Hear me. The real is simple and still. The unreal is loud and demanding. The still small voice does not argue. It announces. It does not say, hurry, or else. It says, I. It carries a quiet authority that, in the instant of its recognition, releases fear like breath released from tight lungs. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. When the truth speaks, guilt loosens its hand, lack ceases to glare, and the next step becomes childlike, almost obvious, so simple that the mind may be tempted to despise it. It is never complicated. It is never theatrical. It is presence being itself. The commentator is different. Note its marks: compulsion, urgency, bargaining, fatigue. It says, if you do this, then God will. If you promise harder, then peace will come. It is a timekeeper with a whip, a prosecuting attorney reciting indictments, a merchant selling relief at high interest. It dazzles and drains. It instructs and intimidates. And always it leaves the mouth dry and the shoulders tight. That is not the Christ sign. Now let us say something bold and simple about appearance and reality. Fear, lack, guilt, these parade as facts, but in the light of God they are snakes and pink elephants, claims in human thought without divine substance. God is too pure to behold iniquity. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When the still small voice is acknowledged, these apparitions lose their purchase. They dissolve, not because we wrestle them to the ground, but because we stop purchasing them with attention. We behold, and the mirage yields to the water that was there all along. Grace cancels mechanistic striving. Hear the word. He performeth that which is given me to do. Not you performing for God, God performing as you. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Our part is receptivity. Our work is the listening attitude that does not add horsepower to the mind, but opens out a way for the imprisoned splendor to escape. God, God, God. When you feel driven, remember, the driver is not the shepherd. The shepherd leads. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Once, a young mother, hearing the commentator scream, "Call 5 people now, fix it now, or you will lose," paused long enough for a single word to rise. Aye. With it came a small, unforced directive. Mail the note. No drama, no crusade, just a note. Peace settled at once. By evening, the answer arrived. Without chase, without bargain, the fruit told the root. So keep this frame in your heart. If it costs you peace, it is not the Christ. If it bestows peace without price and dissolves fear at once, honor it. Speak, Lord. Thy servant heareth. Be still and know. By their fruits ye shall know them. Not by their fireworks, not by their slogans, by their fruits. And the first fruit of the Christ within is peace that asks nothing in return. Hear it. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. The world's peace is a truce, purchased by bargain if the numbers turn, if the doctor smiles, if the neighbor agrees, then perhaps a little ease. The Christ peace is not after, it is before. It descends like quiet upon a lake and says without explaining, aye, it comes unbought, unbargained, unbeholden to circumstance, and in its presence fear loosens and the next step becomes simple, almost child's play. This is the sign. Peace is presence, not outcome. Be still and know that I am God. That is not poetry to admire. It is instruction to obey. Be still before the phone call is returned, before the account is corrected, before the fever breaks, and know. In that knowing, not as thought but as felt reality, the heart settles without demanding that life submit to its plans. Then guidance arises, not as a whip but as a leading. Mend this knot, mail that note, say yes, say no without tremor. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Let it rule, govern, umpire your going and your pausing. If the heart is ruled by peace, it needs no other certification. Now mark the contrast, that you may never again purchase shadows. Deception will always leave you bargaining, proving, performing. It will draft you into crusades of urgency. If you do not run now, if you do not vow harder, if you do not demonstrate your worth, then and there the dryness comes, the tight jaw, the mind that will not sleep. That is the teller's window where strain is the currency. But truth leaves you resting, beholding, listening. No bargains, no auditions. A quiet yes that does not demand applause. Perfect love casteth out fear. Where fear is being stoked, love is not speaking. Where love speaks, fear is cast out. Take, then, this practical rule and write it upon the tablet of your heart. If what you call guidance increases fear or pressure, pause. The I within is not speaking. Stand still in that very moment. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Do nothing bravely rather than something anxiously. Turn within and let the peace appear first. Let it arrive as gift, not wage. When it has come, you will find you are already guided, for the guidance and the peace are one and the same, presence acting. This is not passivity. It is obedience to reality. The I in the midst of you is mighty, and it does the works without your strain. God, 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 only power, only presence, only I. Henceforth, let this be your test and your mercy. If it costs you peace, it is not yours to buy. If it bestows peace without price and dissolves fear at once, follow and you will find that the way has been made straight before you. Be still and know. How then, in the heat of the moment, do we know? How do we test when a thought, a pressure, an opportunity, a warning appears? We keep to simplicity. We take it into the sanctuary and submit it to the one sign. 3 steps. Childlike, immediate, anywhere. First, pause. Second, acknowledge. Third, listen. And then obey only the peace. First, pause. Withdraw the gaze from the scene, the symptom, the screen, the letter, the face. Withdraw it even from your own thought about it. Close the inner door. Enter into thy closet. Drop the patient and the condition. Do you hear? Drop the patient and the condition. You have no patient. You have no condition. You have God. For this one holy minute, let the fever, the bill, the schedule, the accusation stand outside the sanctuary like shoes at the temple door. We are not fixing appearances. We are beholding reality. Be still. Stand still. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Second, acknowledge. In that silent inward place, say, not to persuade, but to recognize, God, the only power, only presence, only I. Say it softly, without strain. I in the midst of me am mighty. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Before Abraham was, I am. Let these not be arguments. Let them be recognition. Acknowledge that grace, not human management, performs. He performeth that which is given me to do. God, God, God. Then stop speaking. Third, listen. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Sit inside that sentence. 2 minutes of holy refusal to reach. No bargaining, no rehearsing outcomes, no fishing for voices. Just the listening attitude, like a window open to morning air. Be still and know. And how shall you know? There are gentle signs, a soft, inward click, as though a latch were lifted. the weight falling off the chest, a spontaneous deeper breath, the urgency dissolving like fog in sun, sometimes a simple, untheatrical word that bears its own quiet. Wait, call, go, forgive, rest. The peace is the message. The message carries the peace. They are one. Now the rule, move only from that peace. Let the peace of God rule, umpire your heart. If the peace has not come, remain still. Do nothing bravely, rather than something anxiously. For when peace is absent, the I has not yet been acknowledged as authority. When peace is present, the I already acts. Grace performs the doing. You will find in the very moment that the inward weight lifts, that direction has already arrived. Often so simple the mind would have missed it. Then, and only then, step without tremor, without haste, without proving. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Keep to this method, and your days will be governed by the one sign, and the crooked places will quietly straighten before you. Let us now do this together. Close the eyes, if you will. Enter into thy closet and shut the door, not a wooden door, an inward door. Leave the matter outside, whatever name it carries, health, supply, decision, apology, set it down as shoes at the temple threshold. We are not fixing appearances. We are beholding reality. Become only a beholder. Be still, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. Now, softly, without strain, we turn the heart Godward. God, God, God. Not words to inform deity, but a simple recognition. God, the only power, only presence, only life. God, God, God. Let the mind grow uninterested in the marketplace of thought. Let it rest a moment in the holy. Be still and know that I am God. Again, gently. God, God, God. And now, let the single syllable of identity arise. I. Not the little I of personality, not the mask, but the I that spoke before Abraham was. I in the midst of thee am mighty. Say it as breath, not as argument. I, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. The I that formed thee from the womb. The I that goes before thee to make the crooked places straight. I, let thought quiet itself before that. We will listen now. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. For these few moments, no asking, only yielding. No bargaining, only being. If a thought comes, let it pass like a bird across a wide sky. Return to the listening attitude. Notice, if it appears, a soft easing at the chest, a little warmth under the sternum, the shoulders dropping, the breath widening without command, perhaps a sense of roominess inside the very body. If there is a word, let it be simple and untheatrical, bearing its own quiet. Wait, go, forgive, rest. If no word comes, the silence itself is speech. The peace is the message. The message carries the peace. We seal this awareness without clutching it. Thank thee, Father, that thy peace remains, whether I feel it much or little. Thy peace is thyself. It is not a wage, it is a gift. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. I consent to be governed by that peace. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. I do not take thought for my life. I receive the life that is thy eye in me. He performeth that which is given me to do. Now, open the eyes, but keep the inner door gently closed to clamor. Notice, the sign is not fireworks, but ease. Do not look back to measure. Never look for results. Abide. If a next step presents itself clothed in quiet, take it without tremor. If no step appears, rest without apology. Do nothing bravely rather than something anxiously. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Here is the secret. Peace arises when we stop purchasing it. Keep to this morning and night, God, 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 and then I. And the shepherd will lead you beside the still waters, and the work appointed will perform itself through you, without whip, without worry, in grace. We do not build altars to ideas. We tell what we have seen and handled of the word of life. By their fruits ye shall know them. Again and again, when I have refused the whip and stood still long enough to be ruled by peace, the way has quietly made itself. Not a trumpet, not a bargain, a leading. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Once, very early, on a morning when a journey pressed, I had my route in mind and my case laid out. Leave now. Take the fastest road. Make the time. As the hand went to the latch, there was that inward click we have spoken of. Not fear, no argument, only a calm, unpurchasable nudge. Wait 10 minutes. Take the coast road. The body relaxed, as if a hand had been lifted from the chest. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. I waited. I went. The sea lay to the left like glass, and the heart lay inside like glass. Later we learned the other way had been closed by a sudden tangle of metal and sirens. Was it prediction? No. It was presence. Peace first, then direction, and the peace continued after, like a bell still sounding, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Another time, much earlier in practice, a pain had announced itself in a manner to frighten the bravest tooth. The temptation was to wrestle, to argue verses at a symptom, to buy a little ease with mental effort. Instead, we dropped the patient and the condition. Do you hear? We dropped the patient and the condition. We entered the closet and said nothing but I. God, 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 only power, only presence, only life. God is too pure to behold iniquity. Then silence. A weight lifted. Sleep came without bargain. By morning the pain had loosened like a knot that no hand had pulled, and what had seemed unfirm was found steady. Did a human mind perform? No. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Grace did, and peace bore witness. And in the smaller theater of every day, one evening, a conversation loomed with heat on it, misunderstanding ready to kindle. The schedule said now, the inner umpire did not. The click, wait, not avoidance, not fear, peace. We waited. By the next day, without one persuasive syllable from us, a note arrived that untied the whole tangle. The talk that followed was gentle, and the matter resolved of itself. Peace before, peace during, peace after unbought, unbroken. Here is the pattern. Learn it and rest. The peace precedes the right action and remains after it, because it is not the wage of success. It is the presence doing the works. He performeth that which is given me to do. The human self neither forecasts nor forces. It consents. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Christ in you, closer than breathing, goes before you, and the proof is not thunder, but still waters. Again and again, unpurchased peace ushers in the right outcome, confirming the inner Christ. Now, because the path is simple, let us be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Where there is true, there will appear imitation, glitter that asks for purchase, words that instruct but intimidate, zeal that burns fuel but not incense. Hear me gently. Anything that dazzles yet drains, instructs yet intimidates, is not the Christ sign of peace. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. The world gives excitement, voltage, spikes of feeling that make the heart race and then leave a faint ache of anxiety, as if something had been borrowed on interest. The Christ leaves rest now, not later. Be still and know that I am God. Consider what I call psychic glitter. Visions, tingles, colors, sounds that take the stage and bow to applause. I do not say these never occur. I say they are not the sign. Test them by their aftertaste. When the light show is over, has fear dissolved without price? Does the body breathe deeper of itself? Is there a simple next step, childlike and unforced? Or does a subtle restlessness creep in, an itch to repeat the trick, to keep the feeling going? The shepherd never drives, he leadeth. The true will not whip you back for more. It will leave you at still waters with no appetite for spectacle. If a glow fades into worry, set it aside. The still small voice speaks I and is done. Then there is moral strain, the self-appointed holiness project, vows, fasts, schedules, disciplines multiplied until the soul is tired and the face is tight. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. Hear the Christ. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Where the inner Christ is obeyed, the doing may be firm, even exact, but it is not grim. Love moves the limb. Law without life exhausts it. If what you call obedience leaves you harsher with your neighbor and brittle with your children, that is not the yoke of the gentle master. Lay it down. Be still. Receive first the peace that needs no badge, and beware borrowed words to say God, God, God. As a lever to force a result is to worship the lever. Words are not coins, they are doors. Use them to open out a way for the imprisoned splendor to escape. And when peace appears, close the lips and listen. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. If you keep chanting to keep panic at bay, you are purchasing calm with labor. Drop the purchase. Rest in I. Let the peace itself keep you. So too with transactional spirituality. Bargaining with God, setting timelines, demanding proofs. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Never look for results. Let the fruit appear in its hour. He performeth that which is given me to do. When fear is at the helm, it will ask for receipts. Grace signs, no contracts. It gives, and the gift is peace. Here is your simple filter, plain enough for a child. Would I be at peace if this outcome did not occur? If no, pause you are striving. Return at once to the closet. Drop the patient and the condition. Say within, softly, I, God, God, God. Wait for the unpurchased ease to arrive. Let it umpire. If what stands before you dazzles, yet leaves you dry-mouthed, If it instructs yet makes you small, set it aside for now. The Christ does not intimidate, it indwells and assures. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Keep to that one rule, and you will not be deceived. Surrender, then, is not defeat. It is the holy transfer of trust from people, from plans, from phenomena, even from a distant God idea up in the clouds to the I that is already within, the I that formed thee. Hear the promise. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. Do you see? Not you forcing the straightness. I going before you. I in the midst of you am mighty. This is not poetry. It is law of spirit. When reliance is withdrawn from externals and placed in the indwelling I, management dissolves and life arranges itself by grace. Let us be very plain. We do not distrust people. We cease to depend on them for our good. We do not despise plans. We refuse to be ruled by them. We do not chase phenomena, signs, tingles, numbers, headlines, as if they were causes. We behold them as effects, rearranged by the unseen presence that leads. And even that far God we sometimes plead with, bring him home. The kingdom of God is within you. The shepherd is not out there driving you. He leadeth from within, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. Here is the stance. Never look for results. Never. Seek not the fig. Seek the root. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Added, not acquired by strain. We enter the closet. We drop the patient and the condition. Do you hear? We drop the patient and the condition, and we behold only God, the only power, the only life, the only law. God, God, we acknowledge, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. He performeth that which is given me to do. Then we wait not lazily, but receptively until peace comes on board. The peace is the sign is the authority. When that quiet settles, move or be moved. If the peace says wait, wait. If it says go, go. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Now, mark the paradox that liberates. The moment results cease to matter, they begin to appear without purchase, without whip. When the heart no longer claws at supply, supply comes as added thing. When the mind stops rehearsing the diagnosis, the body remembers its source. When you lay down the need to convince a brother, love softens the road before your feet. Why? Because the I has gone before you to the office, to the sick room, to the kitchen table, to the courtroom, to the border of the day. It has made the crooked place straight while you were beholding God. Grace over law, presence over procedure. So now, before your next step, withdraw your faith and reliance from persons, possessions, positions, even from your best idea of God as elsewhere. Rest the weight of your being in I. Say within, softly, I in the midst of me am mighty. Enter the quiet. Take no thought for your life. Let the peace appear as gift, and let it rule. You will find that arrangements are made without your managing, that a word behind you says, this is the way, walk ye in it, and that what once demanded wrestling is met by still waters. Keep to this surrender, and you will discover that the mighty I goes before thee, and your days are straightened without strain. Make peace the governor of your goings, and the next step will find you. Let us bring this down to the day, to the desk, to the kitchen, to the bedside. 3 small pauses will remake a life, for they are not pauses in schedule, but openings in consciousness. Morning, before the hand finds the phone, before the mind inventories the duties, enter the closet. 1 minute, if that is all but holy. God, 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 only power, only presence, only I. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Whisper, I in the midst of me am mighty. Give us this day our daily bread. Then listen, if only a hush arrives, that hush is bread. Rise from it and let that quiet rule the first motions of the day. Mid-task. When the engine of doing is hot, stop it just long enough to be governed at the desk with a decision or an email that feels sharp pause. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Do nothing bravely for 2 minutes rather than something anxiously now. Close the inner door. Drop the result. Drop the reputation. Drop the timeline. God, God, God. He performeth that which is given me to do. Wait for the edge to soften, for the breath to deepen, for the little click that says, yes, now. Then you will find the right email writes itself fewer words than you imagined, kinder than you planned, clearer than you could have forced. The doing has peace in it and leaves peace behind it. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a stadium light for next year, just the next line, and it glows. Health. When a twinge speaks or a headline frightens, do not purchase panic with research. Before remedies and reading, 2 minutes. Be still. Drop the patient and the condition. Do you hear? Drop the patient and the condition. I am the Lord that healeth thee. We are not fixing appearances. We are beholding reality. As fear quiets, guidance appears without whip. Rest now. Call tomorrow. Take the walk. Accept the appointment. Skip the fourth opinion. The step will come clothed in ease, not compulsion. And often, very often, the body remembers its source when the mind ceases to fund its alarm. Relationships. When a conversation heats and words sharpen, go to the inward altar and say, Father, show thyself. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Speak only when the edge has melted. If the edge remains, wait without drama. The shepherd never drives. He leadeth. You will feel the moment when love, not fear, is moving the tongue. Then a soft answer turneth away wrath, and what seemed a wall reveals a door that was there all along. Finance, tithe attention first. Peace, bring the first fruits of awareness into the storehouse of the inner sanctuary. God, God, God. Take no thought for your life. From that peace, the next step arrives without gamble. Adjust this figure. Make that call. Release that purchase. Send the gift. No lottery of nerves. No chase, just added things. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Evening. Return once more to the quiet. Lay the day on the altar. Do not tally results. Never look for results. Say only, thank thee. He giveth his beloved sleep. Let the peace seal the day and appoint the morrow. You will wake to find a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Be still and know, God, 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 E, E, E. Keep the one sign. Let peace govern, and the next step will surely find you. There is a point in this way where the peace that has so sweetly settled you on the shore will say, go to the other side. Mark this. The Christ never drives. He leadeth. True peace may send you, but it never drives you. Straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and when the winds rose, he slept presence at rest in the very midst of waves. When the human cried out, Master, carest thou not? The answer was not panic, but authority. Peace, be still. Do you see? The sending and the stilling were one motion of the same presence. I, in the midst of you, am mighty. This is not passivity. It is obedience without dread. There will be hours when peace bids. You speak a hard truth, sign a paper that closes a chapter, enter a room where grief is loud, or step between anger and the innocent. If you are sent, you will feel it, the face set like flint without hardness of heart. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. The limbs may move swiftly, the heart remains unhurried, courage without strain. Why? Because you are not performing righteousness. Grace performs, and you consent. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Appearance must again be unmasked. Storms of weather, of headlines, of accusation are claims upon sense, not laws upon spirit. God is too pure to behold iniquity. Meet the roar as appearance, and behold reality where the shout is loudest. Before you step into that boardroom, or that ward, or that courtroom, keep the rule. Pause. Acknowledge. Listen. God, God, God. Only power, only presence, only I. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. If in the listening the peace descends and remains while the prospect still looks hard, go. The same peace that sent you will walk in you. Here is your self-check. Simple and saving. If the guidance is hard, yet serene, proceed. If it is hard and tense, wait. Tension is the smell of purchase. Serenity is the scent of gift. Test the fruit as you move. Peace before an inward, unbought ease. Clarity during a lamp unto your feet. Word by word, without scramble. Gratitude after, not triumph, not I have done it, but thank thee. This triad is the seal. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Perfect love casteth out fear. And if the gale seems to rise as you obey, remember the pattern of the Master. He did not consult the sea. He consulted the eye. He spoke out of rest into unrest, and unrest bowed. So will you, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Hold it. Keep the one sign. Let the inner stillness be your ark upon the waters. You will find the word behind you. This is the way, turning each step into a led step, until the psalm is fulfilled in you. He maketh a storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still Hascus. So he bringeth them unto their desired haven. My peace I give unto you, not as the world. Be still and know I Beloved, we close where we began in presence, not in opinion. Christ consciousness is not future, not elsewhere, not an achievement. It is the I that indwells, the very life that says within you now, I in the midst of thee am mighty. And how is this realized? By the one sign that asks no price, peace that costs you nothing, appears without bargain, dissolves fear, and quietly directs the footstep. Keep that sign, and the day will be led. Let this be your lifelong way, gentle and steady. Once or twice a day, just that, enter the closet and be still. Then twice becomes thrice, not by resolution, but by love, until you discover, with a little smile, that you are joyfully hooked on stillness, not the whip of duty, but the magnet of peace. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. In those few minutes, you do not manufacture holiness. You consent to what already is. Grace over law, presence over procedure. We will seal this now with the words that open the inner door. Say them softly, as recognition, not as coin in a slot. God, 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 only power, only presence, only life. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. And then the identity word, I in the midst of me am mighty, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. Let these not be levers but keys. Open and then be silent. The peace is the message. The message carries the peace. Final instruction is simple enough for a child. Begin tonight. Before you sleep, leave your problem at the door, like shoes at the temple. Do you hear? Leave it. Drop the patient and the condition. Sit 5 minutes, no more, if that is all, without buying a single thought. Whisper once or twice, God, God, God. Be still and know that I am God. Then listen. If a great quiet comes, receive it. If only a small easing, accept it. Never look for results. Whatever measure of peace appears is gift and governance. Rise under it and let it rule the night and appoint the morning. And fear not, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. For I am the Lord thy God. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. The sign will not fail you, for the sign is himself. Keep to the one sign of unpurchased peace, and you will walk in the light of the indwelling Christ. The crooked places will straighten before you. The word behind you will say, this is the way. And your days will flow not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Be still and know God, God, God. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. I. Amen.